My name is Eitan Chatayat, and welcome to I'm That Podcast, where I get to talk to some pretty incredible people. Some are friends and colleagues, some are clients, and some are people I haven't even met yet. On I'm That, we'll hear from them about who they are, what they do and why, stuff they love or hate, mistakes they've made, victories they've had. They're all known for something, but by the time we're through, the hope is they'll have revealed some things we didn't know about them. Our talk may be deep, profound, funny, who knows really. One thing for sure, it'll be interesting and honest. So if you're up for that, thank you for joining me on I'm That, and here we go. Lisa Coleman is a musician and composer who plays piano and keyboards, and she was a member of Prince's band The Revolution from 1980 to 1986, and is one half of the incredible musical duo Wendy and Lisa, formed with Wendy Melvoin. When she was 12, Lisa got her professional start as a keyboardist in the pop band Waldorf Salad, but she was 19 years old when she auditioned and was hired as a part of Prince's backing group in 1980 for his Dirty Mind album and tour. Lisa played keyboards for Prince on his Controversy and 1999 albums, and the 3 albums as a member of The Revolution, which were Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day, and Parade. Shortly after the completion of Prince and the Revolution's Parade project, Lisa and Wendy started their own journey, and under the Wendy and Lisa musical partnership, they released 5 full-length, incredible albums. Today, Lisa and Wendy continue to work together as film and television composers and have provided the musical scores for television shows including Crossing Jordan, Heroes, Nurse Jackie, which won them an Emmy for Outstanding Main Title Theme, Prime Suspect, No Tomorrow, Witches of East End, Shades of Blue, and Touch, which they were nominated for an Emmy. Lisa, along with Wendy, also shares the honor of winning a Grammy and Oscar for being part of The Revolution, as Purple Rain won 2 Grammys and the Oscar for Best Original Score. She also received the inaugural ASCAP Shirley Walker Award with Wendy in 2014, which honors those whose achievements have contributed to the diversity of film and television music. She also recently self-released her first solo instrumental album titled Collage. And incidentally, she also created the theme music for this, the music on my podcast. I sat down to talk with Lisa as a fan, a friend, and a colleague, with her and Wendy's Fruit at the Bottom album cover, one of my favorite albums of all time, right behind me in my studio. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Ooh, what was that?
I just bumped into my keyboard.
That was a little Lisa keyboard farty. You look great.
Thanks. I've just got out of bed.
What are you having, coffee?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you see what I put up there?
Oh yes. Who are those young girls?
I love that album cover.
Yeah, it's a good one. That was Nick Egan. Yeah, he was the art director.
I'm not kidding. I still listen to that album on a regular basis. And there's a few albums that I really, we all have our, I'd say, top 10, kind of like soundtrack to my life albums. And of all of yours, that's the one for some reason for me. Just love it.
Cool. It's probably the most cohesive of our albums.
How so?
I don't know, it has a sound, our other albums kind of float around and one song sounds like this, they sounds like that. But I don't know, Fruit at the Bottom is all kind of has a sound to it, a little funky stuff,
It's a great album, and it's an album. I can't listen to a song or 2 or 3. I have to listen to the whole thing. Like even on vinyl, I listen to the one side and then I flip it over and I listen to the next one. It's that good. I do have to ask you one thing. I've always wanted to know, and I've never found it anywhere, and I've never, I'm not like a Wendy and Lisa interview junkie where I go everywhere to find snippets and knowledge. But since I know you, I'm going to ask you, the opening to the album, that intro, I think is probably the best intro I've ever heard to an album. And it always gets me and it always gives me goosebumps. And it's not because I know you and it's not because I love you and Wendy and all that stuff. It's just like an amazing opening to an album. What was that? What did you do? Like, what is that whole idea behind the opening with the kids giggling and you guys playing whatever that is, and then the that bit, that thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. Hasn't anyone ever, I'm sure lots of people have told you that, right?
No, not really.
The whole opening, when I put that album on, it's like, I look forward to that. Can you tell me about, I've always wanted to know, how did that happen?
Well, yeah, that's just us creating something with Susan Rogers. She was really in there with us, and we just loved making little segues and little, interesting things, because we wanted to take you into a place, like these are the people making this music are like these silly people, like, made up out of found objects and things like that are just kind of sonically interesting. So, it's kind of like making a video, but with sound.
Maybe it's going to destroy the myth in my head, but like, I always think it's you guys kind of laughing and giggling, but is it as adults? Or, because it sounds like you're children, it sounds like you're girls playing around and playing, but was that in the studio?
Yeah, that was in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, we are children.
I mean, I'm looking at the album cover. I look at Wendy as such a badass on that.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, come on. She's like, let's have it. And you're like just delightful as you are.
Hanging out.
It's just such an amazing album. And that opening is, I might actually just right now, here it is.
Okay.
So here we are. Wow. I can't believe I'm seeing you. It's been so long. It's been at least a year and a half, 2 years.
How is that possible?
Yeah, I think the last time was She's That Woman when we did that. We did a video together and we worked on it. And I think since then we didn't really, besides text messages and lots of pictures that we send each other, and we haven't really done this. So how are you doing? What's going on? And yes, we've started officially. I mean, we started a while ago, but I guess we just got into it. So fuck it.
So what's going on? I don't know. Just working and waiting. I've been working on this show for Netflix called Firefly Lane, and it's going well, but it's going kind of slowly. So it's been driving me a little bit crazy, because it's like, you go to work for a few days and work on the score and finish it, deliver it, and then you don't hear anything for 5 days. Which is unusual. It's usually you hear back the next day, you get notes or whatever, and you're back in doing whatever little adjustments that they might want, and then it's the next episode. But this season has been really slow.
Is there any reason?
I don't know why. I'm wondering if COVID has been playing jokes on everybody, because everybody is still getting it, and it affects production, and then they have to take time off or find somebody to fill that hole. And I don't know if that's what's going on, but something's going on.
Well, how many episodes are there?
Oh, this is the second season, so they have 16 episodes, and we've done 10, but it's taken like 3 months. Usually you do 10 in 10 weeks.
Wow. they're so strict also with everything that goes on with production right now.
Yeah.
And there are lots of delays. I mean, at least here in Israel, there were with COVID when it was really crazy. But now I think is there a resurgence also in the States right now?
Yeah. It's rising again, and they're talking about going back to the mask mandate. And, so I never really took off my mask because it just wasn't time yet. I could just tell. And, and then people around me are getting it all the time. And I've been like so lucky. I've avoided it somehow.
Your family had it right now, like a week ago or two, was it?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, my family had it. And I was taking care of them and sleeping in a separate room because they had it. They could have the house. I was the one who had to isolate.
Did they have, were they sick, or did they just have...
Well, my daughter wasn't so bad, but my wife was really sick. And it's taken her a while to get over it. She's still fatigued and, just not feeling good. So it's a plague.
Yeah. My wife and I and my oldest kid, we haven't gotten it, but my youngest got it. We kept our distance but we didn't get it. So, but it's rising here in Tel Aviv and in Israel again. Are you working on anything else right now?
Yeah. I mean, there's another show that's imminent. It's called Cruel Summer. We're going to get busy on that pretty soon. And then, the thing I'm most excited about right now is Your Muscles.
Oh, it's hot in here. So I had to, I feel comfortable enough to take off my shirt right now with you, but no, it's boiling in here and the door's closed because I don't want the kids to wake up. But yeah, the muscles are gone.
No. Put them back. I'll join you.
Just, it's hot right now in Israel. So, but anyway, apart from my muscles, what is going on?
Oh, okay. So there's this cartoon. It's an adult cartoon. It's called The Hospital. And it's really hilarious and so much fun. And the music is just it's not all electronic, but it's really fun sounds that 8-bit sounds. And, I'm using a Game Boy for some of the sounds. And
was it it's kind of like an adult?
Yeah, it's an adult story. It's, it's funny and there's a lot of crazy characters, that are like larvae and, aliens. And things like that.
It's right up your alley, Lisa.
Exactly.
Right up your weird alley. Bizarre Lisa alley.
Exactly. It's right up my alley and I'm so excited. So you have to keep an eye out for that one.
Wait, it's called The Hospital? What was
Hospital.
it? Anyone that we might know who's behind it?
Actually, it's Maya Rudolph and Natasha Leo's company, and they're doing some of the voices. And yeah.
Wait a second, you guys are buddies. I remember you went on a trip to New York. This was your COVID trip when you and Wendy and we were talking. You're like, we're going to New York for it was a bash or some party with Maya.
Yeah.
Or something I vaguely remember.
That's right. It was Saturday Night Live. And
that's right.
Yeah, she invited us and it was crazy because it was right in the middle of the worst COVID sort of outbreak everywhere. And we decided to take this trip. But luckily, being pals with Maya, she had the private jet.
That's what it was. You had the private jet and you guys were going crazy. You were going to, and I think you video conferenced me from the airport parking lot or something. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so funny. I mean, it was just living large, on the PJ private jet.
But you know what? You look at you guys from the outside and I'm probably not true, but that kind of like that rock and roll lifestyle and private jets and everything. But does that not happen that much anymore? Or I mean, I don't know.
No, it doesn't happen that much. I wish it did. It's really fun.
If I had a private jet, Lisa, you guys would be on it and on your way to Tel Aviv right now.
I would totally be there. I know. Seriously. What about that? I've never been there. It's awful.
People don't know much about Tel Aviv. So hopefully when you share this with your peeps, it's the greatest city in the world. I have lived in so many cities and countries, and there's just something about Tel Aviv. I'm dying for you to come here. My fantasy is for you. First of all, obviously he's Jewish, right? And so is Matt.
Yeah.
So they must have been here, right?
I don't know. I don't think they have.
Okay, that I don't understand. So you guys have to come here and you have to play in a little club and we have to make that happen. That is one of my missions in life, is to bring you here.
Get to work on that private jet.
Yeah, I don't know about the private jet. Maybe economy plus.
Yeah, comfort zone, something.
All right, sorry, we'll get back. So we're getting back to Maya. So you've got this incredible show, and it's already started, or it's starting soon?
It's starting soon. We've done a little bit of music, and I've read all the scripts, and they're great. They're funny. I'm looking forward to it a lot. All I can say.
So you did Collage.
Oh yeah,
which I love. It's your solo album of you just playing the piano. Sublime is the word. It's very you. And I listen to it. It calms me down. Like when I'm like, I just like put it on. But are you working on anything else right now? Like personal music? Do you have time? Do you have bandwidth? Are you and Wendy doing anything? Like, don't people ask you all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. Wendy and I keep making plans. Like, because of this show has been going so slow. It's like, why haven't we taken advantage of this time and just written music? And so we keep planning, like, okay, let's go in tomorrow and just start writing. And then, almost like clockwork, the show will call and say, work tomorrow. So we haven't, actually done anything. I've been doing little things in my studio here at home, and I hope to do the second Collage release sooner than later. So that's something that I've been working on. It might be a little bit different this time because of all the fun I'm having with electronics. So there might be a little more of an electronic edge.
So what fun are you having with electronics right now? Like, what are you experimenting with?
Well, I got this connection thing that I can, like I told you about, I can use my Game Boy now as a MIDI instrument. And I have a lot of Game Boys. And they all have kind of very unique sounds. And, here's the Game Boy.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And it's just all these cuckoo wires that you can, it's crazy. People have gone crazy. There are all these electronic wizards out there that are making it so you can play your vacuum cleaner. And, it's crazy.
You just kind of like, it's overlays with piano. Is that kind of like the idea, or?
Yeah, like I usually make like background environments and then I play the piano over it. So that's kind of my concept. And I also have all these great synthesizers here.
Yeah. I mean, no one's going to really see because I don't usually do video, but like Lisa has got a couple of really cool synthesizers behind her.
Yeah. I have the Prophet 10, which is like such a cool thing. It's the newest Prophet.
Isn't that what you did? That little controversy kind of?
No, that's the new Oberheim.
Oh, that was, I get confused, like, what do I know? I don't even play. So.
No, the new Oberheim is fantastic. And I'll be getting one of those, but they sent one over for me to play around with and see if I liked it. And of course, I love it. It's a lot like the Prophet. The Prophet combined a few different Prophets within this new Prophet 10, and the new Oberheim combines the OBXA, the OBSX, and the OB8, I think, all in one keyboard. So you can like scroll and select, and it's all the sounds that I ever used with Prince.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just because we used Oberheim, every year we'd get the new model, fool around, find the cool presets, and then program a little bit. And so this keyboard came out and it's like, it's a dream come true. It's got all those sounds in it and you can edit fairly easily, and it's all analog, and it's just a dream for all of us geeks.
Do they just send it to you for you to experiment with? Because what is your relationship with these companies that make these instruments? Like, why you?
Well, I had to approach them actually because because they exist. Because the Oberheim thing, especially, was they haven't made an Oberheim in 30 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I didn't know that. Okay, now I know. That makes sense then. Okay. It's coming together, Lisa. It's coming together now.
I understand. It's not, I know, I just start talking like it. Everybody knows.
That's crazy. And this is what you were making all your music with Prince back in the day with the same machine.
Right, exactly.
So this is very nostalgic for you.
Yeah. So I was in touch with them and saying, you got it, when you think Oberheim, don't you think of Dr. Fink and Lisa and, people from the 80s and that kind of thing? And they were like, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, would you give us a quote or something or, make a little video? And so I said, I would do everything for you. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Just let me in.
And what did they make you do to get one?
Well, I had to give them a quote.
Okay.
Something about how I partied like it was 1999 on the Oberheim, something cheesy like that.
Cheesy but true. Cheesy but true.
Cheesy but true. That's right. It's absolutely true. And it's a little bit of history, synth history.
So I actually have to ask you, because I've over here on the, we're talking that I'm completely off script. Like I have a whole bunch of questions. Again, it's really weird because you're my buddy. So it's hard for me to just do the interview thing. But you just brought up Prince. And I want to talk about you more than I want to talk about Prince. And you know how much I love Prince's music. I wanted to just ask, and I know you've talked about it before and endlessly probably with so many people, but you were friends for a long time. I'm just wondering, what do you miss most about working with not just Prince, but Prince and the Revolution?
I miss the whole thing. When I think about it, I really enjoyed the traveling and, I like a good hotel and room service. And, I miss playing live to those giant crowds.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. That's such a rush. I mean, I didn't miss it for a long time. I was okay. Okay, I did that. That was something else. But now after all these years, when I think about it, it's like that, and I go to some other people's shows sometimes and I just know how they feel up there on the stage and, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's such a rush. Sometimes I miss doing that and just having that. I don't know how to explain it. It's like being on a thrill ride, I mean, people are screaming at you, but you kind of feel like screaming back at them, on the inside, you just, I'm on a roller coaster.
And they loved you so much.
They did. In the end, it was, we really made it. It was victory because we, struggled through some screaming at us because they didn't like us kind of routines. So it was an amazing breakthrough to finally play a big crowd and they're actually loving you. So that was great.
And the funny thing is, I think they still love you, but in a big way though. When Prince passed and you guys went out on the road again. I mean, I know that it was you've talked about it being a healing process, and you wanted to help people through their grief and for yourselves as well.
Yeah.
But even I was following that from, little old Tel Aviv here in Israel and just following what was actually happening with what people call the Purple family around America. And it was really moving. It was really moving to see the expression of love, and that I imagine, well, I guess I'm asking, how did that feel for you?
That was a gift from God, literally. It was so beautiful to return to something all these years later. And to find out that how much we shared with these people. It was incredible. I mean, they were coming to the gigs. It was almost like we shared those gigs. It wasn't like we were just putting on a show or something and they were paying to come and see us. It was like we were meeting in this place to share these things that we shared in the past. And people came with their old albums and I got everybody but your signature back in 19 whatever, Can you sign this for me now? I finally got it complete. Things like that were happening and people crying and, and of course we're feeling emotional too. So it was really something I don't think very many people get to experience something like that. I mean,
No, like when you think of the greats that have passed, like I've never been able to move past the revolution. Like I love Prince and I love him through all of his different phases, some more than others. And I love the new power generation. But the revolution it's the revolution. It's to me the best band in the world. And you came together with fans. And even though he wasn't there, which is not a small, even though he wasn't there, because he was kind of everything. But watching from here, the kind of grief, but the joy was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And you felt it. And I'm telling you, you were there. I mean, you were playing in front of people. I'm telling you, over here, just watching videos and reading about it, I really felt it. And that must have been amazing, just to connect with them on that level through all that sadness, something kind of good. Also, just a beautiful, beautiful thing. God, I miss him so much. I can't even begin to imagine you.
yeah, it's a big chunk of my life gone. And, even like things that I hoped for in the future. And, you have to just take that away, the hope of working with him again or more. I really felt like we would get old and funky and keep playing forever.
No doubt, because you also get older. I mean, we all get older, and then things kind of, I know, whatever shit people had in the past, if there was, it's kind of like when you have these such strong bonds, which you guys clearly did, then at some stage, based on what I see around me and a lot of people see around them with friends and with family, you kind of like, there's a coming back together. And I remember that Wendy, I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember that Wendy played with Prince acoustic on some show.
Yeah.
And that kind of like stood out to me because I remember, was it the Tavern Smiley show?
Yeah.
But did you ever play with him again?
But just at his house. I never did any more gigs. Wendy did go and play with him at some gigs, which was lucky. I think it was easier to call, Wendy to play the guitar than me to come and play the keyboards. I don't know.
Or just because he did it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's even less of a logistical thing just to come in and plug your guitar in. I don't know. I wasn't as open to it for a while there. I didn't know how I fit in anymore, kind of thing. And especially with keyboards, it's less of a jam instrument, I guess.
Do you mean how you fit in musically or how you fit in with him?
With him.
What do you mean?
He would talk to me through Wendy a lot of the time and always ask Wendy if is Lisa down, he would say. And I understood that to an extent, but then I was like, well, come on, why don't you talk to me personally? And, am I down with what? I didn't know what I was supposed to be down with. So I wouldn't give like, yeah, I'm down kind of answers. I'd be like, down with what? And then he would take that as a no, So we played some kind of games in a way for a while there, and I guess it's just being young and, sort of like angry and righteous in silly ways.
It doesn't sound from the side from everything that I've read. Look, I don't know. Fucking love the guy to bits with his music, but I don't know how I would have handled a relationship with the guy. Because he sounded like a pretty tough guy, man. Not the easiest cat.
Yeah, well, that's true. He wasn't the easiest guy to get along with, and he could be really tough. So, I would get tough back. Always the way to be if you wanted to play with them. So
you're sitting down with a human being, and he's a human being. It's also very this whole obsession with Prince and the fans, it's like godlike, the status. But yeah, he was a man, and he definitely had his I guess, his quirks, and it couldn't have been easy. But because I want to move on from Prince, because it's funny, like at least with me, I absolutely people know me for in my circle at least, like Prince, okay, A-Ton Prince, but they also know me for Wendy and Lisa. And the thing that always bugged me, and actually really still bothers me to this day, is I always thought, and I still think that you guys, on the whole, like I think that you should be household names with the quality of the music and just you guys are just so amazing, you and Wendy together. What's the reason that you think that you didn't make it big? And I don't know, maybe you didn't want to make it big. I don't know, maybe you did, but like,
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, we did want to make it big, and we kind of thought that that would happen, and we had the song Waterfall that we thought, everyone was like, oh, that's a hit song. You guys are going to make it big. This is it. And it didn't connect. And I'm not sure if it's because we were the girls from Prince, and Waterfall didn't sound like a Prince song. It was more like a rocker, poppy rocker. And maybe that threw people, like they weren't expecting that to come from Purple people, but it did. And then it just seemed to go like that, with each album. And we had trouble with record companies because they were also like, aren't you Prince 2.0? And we were like, well, yeah, but no. I mean, we're Wendy and Lisa. I don't know. They wanted us to do, the record company, would set up photo sessions for us and things like that. And they were just awful, with motorcycles and furs and things that just, we weren't. It's like, no, I don't think you understand. That doesn't match. And so we might have screwed ourselves a little bit.
well, I'm sitting here and I'm smiling, but like, it's not funny. It's not funny for two incredible musicians. And I don't think, the people that know you know this, but like, you're an incredible talent. And Wendy, just at another level, it really just sucks to hear that. It really sucks to hear that, because great. I mean, I've got the album, Fruit at the Bottom, and you guys look amazing on it. But it's a great album, in terms of just like what you managed to create together collectively. It's, as far as I'm concerned, a masterpiece. And to not get that recognition, it kills me. And in the moment when you were meeting with these people and they were basically telling you to be who you weren't. And as women, like, because also when you listen to some of the lyrics on the album, like they're almost some of the songs, sung about men. Like, and I know that you are openly gay and you were with Wendy. I believe you were with Wendy at the time, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And yet, was that something that you wanted to be open about, or the world wasn't ready then, or they said, no, you mustn't? I mean, it just feels so repressive, the whole thing.
Yeah, there was a little bit of homophobia going on. And, and that was never a fight for, we weren't activists. We were musicians, we didn't want to suddenly fight for gay people, or, because especially with Prince, it was just presented. I mean, it was just, here are these people. We didn't have to make definitions and slide into categories. I mean, even with Prince, that was a problem with some of the records we put out, and they didn't know what, radio station to play it on and things like that. But it was really devastating in a way to not have these record company people understand what we were doing, and that we weren't just Pop-Tarts. They really wanted us to be Pop-Tarts, and they thought, why don't you know your place?
I can't imagine anyone like talking. I mean, just knowing you a little bit, and also Wendy, like, be this, and she's like, fuck off, no. But I guess you had to play ball a little bit at the beginning. And I know that you did for a little bit, for a minute, until you started to just say, well, fuck this. And I'm so glad that you did. But like, I know that I don't just speak for me when I say how in awe I am of your talents, and still what you put out. Anything that you do, just like, for me, I'm just blown away.
Oh,
You're amazing.
thank you.
I mean it. So I'm going back into interview mode because
Okay. I know we're doing a podcast here.
we are. I'm sucking at it. I'm just blowing. I have a question that I always wanted to ask you. So I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite or a couple of your favorite Wendy and Lisa songs and why?
Oh, wow. That's such a good question.
Plenty more where they came from, baby.
Because they come and go, in my head. And they're all my little special children. What came to mind first was Staring at the Sun.
Staring at the sun. Da, 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 da.
That's it.
Yeah. Fruit at the Bottom. Last song, right?
I don't even know what album it's on.
Fruit at the Bottom.
Is it?
No, it's not Fruit at the Bottom. It's Eroica.
Oh, it's Eroica.
Eroica, sorry.
Oh, I know what I like on Fruit at the Bottom. December.
Oh.
Why? Because it's a piano song. Because it's fun to play on the piano.
Can you play it right now?
No, I don't have a piano in front of me.
You don't? Didn't you bump into a little key over there?
Yeah, but it's a synthesizer.
Oh, no, we don't care.
I could play Staring at the Sun.
You are going to make me cry. Amazing. So, Staring at the Sun.
Yeah, Staring at the Sun. It's fun to play, fun to sing. I like that line about I'm not afraid of the big bad wolf.
That's right.
That was a good line in there.
Hey, I have a question for you, actually. What's This Is the Life about from your first album? I've always wanted to know.
Well, that was co-written with my friend Chris Bell. She co-wrote a few songs with us. And This Is the Life is pretty much about being a musician and trying to make it work and trying to be honest in your songs and in your life and kind of feeling, it sounds a little bit like in the song that you're beaten by what's going on. But in the end, it's actually a song of acceptance. This is the life and this is my life. And you have to accept the punches along with all the hugs. And that's pretty much all it's about.
I think it's one of my favorite songs. And Bowl of Cherries. I've got a bowl of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
That's such a you song. I've got a big bowl of cherries and I eat them one by one. I love that song.
It's the truth.
I've got a big bowl of cherries and I eat them one by one. The sweet and sour come. I taste them one by one until
Sorry, so I let you say one of your favorite songs and then I gave you two of mine. But give me one more.
Tell you one more. What's a good one? How about Are You My Baby? Again, I'm just picking these ones that I like the keyboard parts on.
I mean, that's a great song.
I like the sound of it. It's like, it sounds really little. The drums are like really small.
And that bass. Doom, doom.
Oh my God, Wendy is such a good bass player.
That was Wendy? Wendy was playing that? Because I'm just used to seeing the video with that guy with the bandana. I know who he was, but...
Oh yeah, Alan.
Alan, right. But yeah, so I'm like, of course, was that guy. But no, it was Wendy.
Yeah, that was Wendy. She plays on all the records. Yeah, she's an incredible bass player.
She's an incredible everything.
Yeah, she is.
What is it about Wendy, then? What's the most amazing thing about Wendy? Let's talk about Wendy.
Let's talk about her.
You know that you have to help me get her to do this so that we get to talk about you.
That's right.
Let's talk about Wendy and how amazing she is. What is it about you two? What's going on there?
She's just one of those people that I love that is like uncontrollably creative. You get her in the studio and she can play anything, and even if she can't play it, she'll try. It's like, oh, trombone, sure, give me that thing. And then she might come up with something really cool. And, she's just like that. And she just has this kinetic energy. She's just like bouncing all over the place. And so I'm kind of the opposite. I'm more like a flow, like just a little constant flow that kind of flows around. And I take in all this creative stuff and then I can kind of like spit it back out, smooth the edges. So when we work together, it's like we produce each other, like she gets me to put out my best stuff and I take her best stuff and kind of show her what it is because she'll run right over it, and I have to say, stop right there. That's it. Quick, record that. So we make a good team. I mean, mostly because we love what the other one does so much.
Has it always been that way? Or is this something that is just like over time, is this something that from the beginning it was like that?
Yeah, I think it was pretty instant, because we knew each other for so long. We knew each other as kids and we weren't playing music together. So we kind of knew the other's personality. And so when things started changing and we were getting older and then we fell in love with each other. And then
what age was that?
She was probably, I don't know, 17 or 18. And I was 21, 22, something like that. Because I'm a bit older than her, just a little bit. So yeah, I think our dynamic was already established kind of before we started playing music together.
How do you maintain that? Like, I work with my wife, as you know. We run our branding agency together, and it's not easy. What's not easy about working with Wendy? And I know that whatever you say, it's with respect and love, but like, what's not easy? Because it's not easy to, like, what do you fight about? Like, I want to know, like, what that's, just because I go through it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it is like, it's the blessing and the curse. Like she does move so fast sometimes that I have to say, wait, I'm not down with where you're going right now. Or she'll go and call a musician in or something like that. Or just wait, what are you doing? So she's very fast. And that gets to be difficult, you know. And the other thing is like when you're in love with somebody, it's a little bit dangerous working together because you can be affected by even just the slightest look that they give you. And they might not even be aware that they just gave you a look, you know, and then you're like, oh my God, why did she look at me that way? Then you start like spinning out inside, and then, you know, and then later on it comes out and like, what the fuck, you know?
Tell me about it. Every day, every day, every day.
So I know what that's about. But the good news is, for us, at least, for Wendy and I, it hasn't been a deal breaker. You know, it's like that there's this base of love and commitment that we know we can fight, and it's not going to be the end of it. There's always going to be a resolution. At least so far there has been.
It's interesting because I was going to ask you about what's the magic between you guys, but I think that's a big part of it, like knowing what you just said, that there's going to be a resolution. It's like we're in this together, and it's kind of like a decision that you've both made. Clearly it is, and this respect that you have for each other. I want to ask you about music, actually, about music today. I don't know what your musical tastes are today. I've got two young boys. I've got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they're discovering music. And I can tell you that, I mean, there's very little new stuff that we play for them. And I don't think it's because we're not open to new stuff. I think it's because we just struggle to find stuff that really is, to us anyway, really good music. What do you think of, and this is a very big question, so answer it how you want, but like, how do you feel about music today? Because I don't know about you, but I struggle.
I think it's struggle worthy. I do. I think that it's hard to find the music for you. You know, there's popular music has always been a little bit fluffy, and the things you hear on the radio, maybe you hear a good song every once in a while that's worth checking out an album, but for the most part, not really. So you really have to go and search and find things on your own, and there's like a little middle stratosphere of bands that you can kind of, or solo artists that you can discover, but you really have to put your boots on and go, you know.
So who are you listening to, kind of like more contemporary music or contemporary artists that you like?
You know, the funny thing is like, I like things like Adele.
Yeah. Yeah. How can you not like her though? She's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody likes that, and she's so immediate and such a good singer, and, you know, so that's pretty easy. And she's new, and that's promising, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And her albums are good. But I don't know, like when it comes to like, because I'm interested to hear more, like where's the funky stuff, you know? I mean, there's like Steve Lacy or Anderson .Paak I like.
He's good.
He's really good. And he does some interesting stuff. But again, you really have to search it out, like, to find these things. I don't know. I can't even think of it.
Yeah, that I struggle with it as well. I mean, like, it's like I can't even think. Like, I was in hospital around just over a year ago. When I came out of hospital, I saw an album cover. I don't remember where it was, but it was J.P. Sachs, and it was Dangerous Levels of Introspection.
Oh, yeah.
He is an artist that really, you know, his music really spoke to me. It was like, wow. I've been listening to a lot of, you're going to laugh, but like Liam Gallagher.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, I love Oasis. I think they're great. They're a great band. And he's put out a couple of good kind of like rock pop albums, and he's interesting. He's an interesting character.
Yeah.
Which I also find is really missing in music today, like interesting people who have something, I don't know, to say. But I find myself listening to a lot of old stuff. Like I'm listening to Harry Belafonte. I'm listening to Otis Redding. I'm listening to Sam Cooke. Dina, you know, she loves Hair. You know, she likes listening to like old musicals and stuff. So the kids are learning. And then of course, they're listening to a lot of funk. They're listening to a lot of James Brown and Prince. They're listening to Michael Jackson. They're listening to, but it's old. but not a lot of new stuff.
I know. I mean, I wonder what's going on because you're right. There's like not even like the personalities of people aren't like we mentioned Adele. At least she's got a personality, and you kind of get an idea of who she is.
I mean, there's the music and then there's the person. And the music is sublime. It's incredible. It's phenomenal. Her voice and her albums are beautifully produced. But yeah, she's an authentic human being. And you think about Liam Gallagher, you know, or even his brother Noel, who's also, you know, super talented and everything. But like, they're authentic, you know, they have something to say. And I really feel that's missing right now. Like I miss artists that bring something more than the music. You know, don't want to go back to Prince, and that's what I miss about Prince, but that's what I miss about Prince, and that's what I've always liked about Prince, even when he was a little bit older, you know, that he was, for better, for worse, this is an interesting human being. He's got something to say.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know who's doing that now. I don't see it.
Really? Oh man, I was hoping that you'd give me like a whole list of people that were, that's what I was hoping. I was like, Lisa's gonna give me hope.
Hip you to all the cool things. No, I don't know. Wendy might have a good clue because she's always mining for gold. She listens to everything and she turns me on to things from time to time. So she's a good resource. You'll have to get her.
Okay. So I will get what I did not get from you. I will get hope from her and not despair.
That's right. I can't help you, Eitan.
This is something that I wanted to ask you, which is always an interesting one. But like, what is something that you are absolutely you're amazing at, and that not a lot of people know about, except for the people that know you? Like, what are you like really, really good at that not a lot of people know? It doesn't have to be professional, by the way. I've had people say really weird things.
Okay, I'm a sharpshooter.
No,
I am. I hate guns. And I don't want them around me, and they make me really feel a lot of negative feelings. But put one in my hand and look
really?
out.
Are you serious? Like you're a sniper? You can you go to the shooting range and you shoot?
Yes.
That's great. What's wrong with that? I mean, like as long as you're not shooting at people, that's amazing.
Yes, I don't want to shoot any people.
No people shooting, please. Thank you. But like you go to the range and you shoot?
But I have, and I'm like a sharpshooter. I could be like American Sniper.
Really?
Yeah, it's so ironic because I am such the big, anti-gun. I've always had like gun control stickers on my cases and stuff for years and years, and people call me a pussy and everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, put a gun in my hand. Watch out! Watch out!
Watch out! So I think that's probably the most, just knowing you as well, that is the most surprise. That's like completely on the other end of the spectrum of Lisa. How did you even get to that?
Well, because I had a manager once, and he was really a scary guy, and he had a gun in his trunk, and that made me upset, kind of like, why are you carrying a gun around in your car? And what's up with that? And he's like, guns are great. I'll take you girls to the firing range. It was me and Wendy. So we went to the firing range, and it's like a bout of anxiety attack in there. Like, it's such a weird place. I mean, you probably know about guns being Israeli.
Yes, we have a lot of, but we don't have the problems that you have. I mean, we have guns here because we have a lot of people, unfortunately, trying to kill us, but we don't have what you have in America, which is just bonkers and insane. Like we have a conflict problem here. There's a bit of a warlike situation, a conflict situation here between two peoples, which is very complicated, which we won't get into. But in terms of the Israeli population and the Arab Israeli population here in Israel, we don't have that issue that you guys have. Or can you just explain to someone who is not an American what the fuck is going on in America with the guns?
It's horrible. It's the Wild West, and it's such ignorance and pompous. Well, like I said, I mean, I'm a big anti-gun person, and on here right now is horrible, and it's getting worse because our government doesn't want to do anything about it, and the NRA is so powerful here. The propaganda is coming out quick. There's all these stories now about mass shooting. Like yesterday, there was another mass shooter guy at a mall and a citizen shot him. So now it's like the law is in the hands of the people. People are just, I'm going to, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And so everyone now wants to be a good guy with a gun. I don't know.
It's really scary. We're actually working, because, I have the branding agency. There's a company that we're working with that is, so, you have CCTVs, like outside schools and places of worship, embassies. So this is a technology that works with those existing cameras that if someone is walking by and they take out a weapon, as they're taking it out, the technology recognizes that a weapon has been seen. And then people can take cover, they have a window of opportunity, the time to shut down the gates, close the doors, everyone goes into their... But that's not a way to live. I mean, that's a preventative measure. But it's really hard to see what's going on in the States.
Yeah. I can't imagine what it looks like from outside of the States because, it looks sloppy and like we don't care.
Look, America is going through a lot of issues, and I don't think it's a Democrat, Republican. I don't think it's a red, blue. I just think, that's the convenient conversation always, but I think there's just a real division and there's a lack of leadership, and it's about religion, it's about the right to give birth, it's guns, it's a lot. You guys are going through a lot. I don't think it's sloppy, or healthcare, like here in Israel, everyone has, I didn't tell you this, but my dad's in hospital right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. He's got healthcare. We all have healthcare here. It's not really a question. So it's hard to blame a party because this is the way that it's been for so many decades on so many things. But there's a real division in America, and it's scary because if America's divided, you really feel it. You really feel it in the world.
Well, it's not very fun to be here right now.
Yeah, do you feel it like in your everyday life or?
Yeah, definitely. People, me included now with all the guns, you start getting paranoid going to events and things like that and going to a concert. I went to the Hollywood Bowl the other night with my daughter and, it crossed my mind. I looked over the crowd and I'm like wondering, what would we do? How would we, how could I keep her safe if something happened? And meanwhile, we're wearing our masks and trying to stay safe from COVID. And, there's just these piles and piles of things. It interrupts your everyday life. Because, even my daughter she thinks about it too.
How old is she?
She's 15. And I can't imagine, luckily she goes to a private school and it's an all-girls school. So we're not too worried about a shooter there, but it could still happen.
Sure.
They have drills and it's unbelievable. Training children to what to do and then in an active shooter situation.
Yeah.
And we're not at war. This is freedom we're talking about.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Because as an Israeli, I'm listening to you, and missiles were coming down a year ago, and there's terrorism here, and there's conflict. But yeah, this is in your country where there is no war. It's frustrating because you want someone to figure it out already. How difficult can it be to just? Man, it's tough. But I have hope. Do you have hope?
I have hope. I think it's going to take a long time, but I have hope. But I am also looking at property in Canada.
You are? Are you really?
Yeah.
Why Canada? Seriously, why?
But Canada's close, and I could still kind of work and, not be too far from, if I had to go to New York for a session or, something like that.
Would you like Canada?
Canada's nice. It's like the States in the 70s. So it would be like returning to my childhood.
I have friends, but I also have family in Calgary, and they love it. They've lived there for 40 years now.
Yeah, I've had a couple friends move to Toronto recently as well, and they love it.
Have you been there? Have you been to Toronto?
I've been there. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I look at you and I think, okay, LA, But could you live somewhere else?
I mean, I don't know. I have, and I always return. So it's hard for me to say that I would leave forever because I'm a LA girl. It's the easiest place in the world to live. It really is, unless you're worried about people hating you. But that's going to be anywhere in the States now.
It's funny. I was telling my wife that I really want to go to LA, and she goes, "Why?" And I said, "Because I really want to give Lisa a hug." We haven't talked about how we met, by the way, but like maybe we should. Well, the first time we met actually was at the Town and Country Club in London because I came to your gig and I was in the first row with a mate of mine, but we didn't meet, of course. But Wendy was playing her guitar, and I don't know if she does this, but like, sometimes when you're playing, I guess you kind of like focus on a person. And okay, so I was that person the whole show for Wendy. And I actually, I waited outside and I met you guys outside and I gave you guys notes. But we actually met when I started playing Words with Friends. And somehow, I don't know how it happened, but you and I started playing together. And then we became pen pals because you can chat on that. And we were talking for, I think it was like around 10 years, something like that.
Yeah, easy.
And then finally I was like, okay, we should talk because I want to do something. I've written something with a friend and I want you to score the music for it. And you were like, yeah. And I think that was was that the first time we ever spoke?
That's so crazy.
Isn't it nuts?
I mean, that's why I can't remember how we met because it just seems like I knew you and all of a sudden there we were.
I was a slow burn.
You were a slow burn, slow cooker.
I was a slow burn, but like it was playing words with, it's basically Scrabble with a chat, and we would chat and chat and chat, and we would leave each other massive messages, like paragraphs, and every day. When my first was born, you scored a little piece of music for him, and I did a little video, which I'm going to dig up and I'm going to send it to you. But anyway, that's how we know each other. It's more nuts for me than it is for you because you didn't grow up knowing who I was and listening to anything or seeing anything that I had ever done. But I grew up with you guys in my ears.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah, is it weird for you? Like, I don't consider myself just a fan of yours because we've become mates. Yeah, but how does it feel for you with fans? Isn't that weird?
It is weird because, and especially now because it's been some time, I'm not in the public all the time, getting applause and things like that. So it's fun. I mean, it's really fun. And I think it's lovely. I really do. And it's a part of me that, obviously they're a fan of something in their mind that has lived with them for a while and they've made it this thing. And I just represent that, so I'm happy to just reflect that back. And I want to respect that. And I don't want them to meet me or something and go, ew, she was really rude or she was really stoned or anything like that.
I can't imagine you being rude or not just lovely and delightful. I mean, I'm not saying this to score points or anything, but you seem to be just like a really nice...
I think I am. I'm just a regular girl.
You're definitely not regular. That you're not. Sorry. No, you're not just... No, you're not just... You're kind of quirky beautiful, I don't know.
All right, I can take that.
Oh, yeah. Well, would you say that you're regular?
To me, I'm regular. Because I was born this way, so I don't know anything different.
That's true. I guess we could all say that, but there's something about you.
I've had an interesting life.
I have to ask you one last question. I think it is the first podcast that I've ever done where I don't open up with the question that I always open up with. So I think we're going to try and end on this, but it might open it up again. I always ask the question, all you need to do really is to complete the sentence, which is, Lisa Coleman, please complete the sentence. I'm that musician. And I'm that musician because
I am so much like all musicians that you would ever meet, that all they want to do is music, music, music. And I stay up too late, and I have relationship issues, and, and I'm playful and creative, and I don't want to be that female musician. I want to be that musician. Sound good?
Sounds true.
It is true. I came from a family of musicians, and so I'm just one nut in the bunch.
Is it still the same for you? Music? Like, is that just like a constant? Or does music and what music is for you in your life, has that evolved or changed? Or is it still just kind of like the same kind of thing that it always was for you, which is just like whatever that is? If that question even makes sense.
It makes sense. But the thing about it is that part of what it is for me is something that always grows, that constantly can give me something new. That every time I go back to the piano and sit there and just open myself up, something new happens every time. And I think that that can happen for the rest of my life. And there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it. It's the most soothing. It's the most invigorating. And it has promise always. I can always get better. I can always learn more. I can always write something new.
You know what I envy about musicians? And I do this for a living with people in my business, which is a creative business. And we've worked together before and we collaborated. So there's always the creative collaboration. And I do that for a living. But as a musician, you collaborate in the moment. And I can't even begin, as a non-musician, I can't begin to imagine what that's like to be so connected and have to be so on the same beat. You know, you're in time together. And I envy you because I imagine that when it works, I mean, of course it works. It works for you all the time. Otherwise, you know, you'd be a lousy fucking musician, you know, but like, how does that, do you ever just stop and just be like, whoa?
Yeah, it's like, I can only imagine it's something like being a whirling dervish where you just are so, I don't know, it's like you leave your body. Your body is just doing this thing. And there have been times when I've been jamming and I have this experience where I get almost hysterical. You know, I feel like that all this emotion comes welling up and I feel like laughing or crying and like I don't know, it's like really reaching nirvana or something. I mean, I can't explain what it is, but it's that hysteria that music gives me a lot of the time. Like when I think I was 8 years old and my mother sat me down to listen to Mozart's Jupiter Symphony. And when it was over, I told my mom, it makes me feel like laughing and crying at the same time. And that was kind of the first time I really distilled that feeling and understood, wow, this is music. This is like magic and what it does to your feelings and even like the visuals in your mind when you're listening. And I don't know, it's just a beautiful experience.
How does it feel to come back to reality?
It feels okay because, you know, it's positivity. It's this otherworldly experience that you get to have while you're here on Earth.
It's an amazing, amazing thing. So are you still jamming? Do you still?
Oh yeah, whenever I can, absolutely.
So where do you just go to hang out with people and just jam with them with no agenda?
Yeah, just, you know, okay, somebody start playing something.
Okay, I've got to come to LA to one of these sessions and I'll pick up a tambourine or something. I think I could handle a tambourine or something.
You have to dance.
Oh, I'll dance. I'll do the whole neck thing. I'll be moving. I can't not when I'm feeling something. So I'll ask you one more question.
Oh, yes.
If you could do everything all again, is there anything that you would change?
No, I think my life, other than losing people that have been close to me, you know, if there was anything I could do about that, I would. But But no, I've had the most incredible life, even with the hardness. I wouldn't change anything.
If you could decide what's next for you, like you can make a decision, you could stick with it, you could commit to it, you could control it, what would be next?
Well, after the hospital, which I'm really excited about, as you can tell, I would say making an album with Wendy and doing some gigs. I think it's been some time since we've played, and I think I'd really like to do that with Wendy again.
Well, that is going to sound so cheesy what I'm about to say now, but like, and I didn't plan this, but that is literally music to my ears. Nothing would make me happier. Lisa, I love you. I miss you. I've never hugged you, but I'm hugging you so big time right now. Just thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. And I can't believe we have never hugged. I swear I can feel your arms around me.
It's going to happen soon. I'm going to come to LA and I'm going to come and I'm going to meet you. But I want you to also come here. I want you to come to Tel Aviv with Wendy.
Absolutely. I would love to. All righty, Tom.
Well, that's it. Thank you for joining me on I'm That. I hope you enjoyed the chat, and I hope you'll join me for our next guest. In the meantime, definitely hit subscribe, whether you're on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, or any other platform. And if you can, leave a comment, give it a like, and tell your friends. That would be brilliant. Stay tuned for the next show, and see you soon.